Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gamansing. The Joint Board of Elections met on St. Thomas Thursday morning to hear reports from the chairs of each district. They also discussed the absence of Supervisor of Elections John Abramson, as well as the status of the new St. Thomas St. John Elections Office. Public testimony was not allowed as the board voted against it at their last meeting. News 2's Erica Bivens brings us this update.
The Joint Board of Elections met Thursday to hear reports by each district's board chair. Alicia Wells, who's out of the territory, was allowed to give her report by phone despite protests by some of the board members. Wells described the most recent election as excellent, stating there was a 55% voter turnout. No written copy of her report was available. However, Vice Chair Wilma Marsh Monsanto had a report of her own, which was also read into the record despite an objection by Raymond Williams.
I don't think that these are issues that the Joint Board has to deal with.
Monsanto's statement cites 12 complaints in the St. Thomas St. John district, many dealing with challenges that have gone unanswered by the board. Rupert Ross also gave a report for the St. Croix district.
Voter participation was 14641, which is approximately 60%.
Ross also shared a letter written 2 days after the election stating Abramson had rescinded his recommendation to the board that an employee be terminated. Although Ross didn't state who that employee was, Claudette George's motion to give back pay to Deputy Supervisor Mabel Maduro for when she was placed on suspension by Abramson, since he had now rescinded his recommendation.
It stated that she was suspended for a period of 30 days. It did not state that she had due process, and it did not state her exact reasons why.
That motion carried, as did Adelbert Bryan's motion for Abramson to write Maduro an apology and circulate it to the public. Maduro also gave an update stating they would be moving to their new office December 19th. She also stated Abramson met with the Inspector General's office regarding the audit on federal funds, as well as the Attorney General's office, who is conducting a separate investigation. Maduro stated she, along with James Weber and Abramson, have scheduled meetings with the IG's office. She also gave an update on the new voting machine.
The professional service contract with Election Systems and Software, LLC, was signed by the governor. It's in the amount of $646,489.48.
For News 2, I'm Erica Bivens.
Now, Ross also stated Abramson is on annual leave until January 7th, but has not relinquished his duties to anyone else, and that he would be available when needed, although other board members stated they could not get a hold of Abramson themselves. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, the St. Croix Board of Elections rejected petitions for a recount by 3 former candidates, citing that the petitions failed to meet Title 18, Section 629 requirements. The St. Thomas St. John Board met at 3 o'clock this afternoon. However, they failed to get a quorum. Members Harry Daniels and Claudette Georges were in attendance, while Chair Alicia Wells called in. Vice Chair Wilma Marsh Monsanto recused herself since she filed a petition. VI Code requires the board to decide within 3 days whether a recount will take place. That did not happen. News 2 will have more in Friday's newscast. The V-I Legislature is in the midst of a transition, losing its executive director last week and now preparing for the changeover from the 29th legislature to the 30th. Senate President Ronald Russell wants to make sure, though, he clears the air about certain comments that have been made recently. News 2's Erica Parsons has more.
With the abrupt departure of the Senate's Executive Director, Pamela Richard Samuel, last week, there's been speculation about what went down.
It wasn't abrupt as people might think. There has been ongoing, what I consider, power struggle that culminated with that resignation. And we accept it. I think that my leadership brings a certain style, and some people just couldn't adjust to it.
Samuel's resignation set off commentary from other senators Russell said he didn't appreciate.
I think that the 29th legislature, facing daunting times, we have run a very tight ship, and we've done it well. So when you hear these general accusations of chaos and confusion and transparency, people are just spitting out buzzwords to be contrary, because the decisions that are being made, especially regarding tight finances, they are against that.
Democrats from the 30th Legislature met Tuesday organizing the new Senate and selecting Senator Sean Michael Malone as the new president.
I'm trying to pave a way for 30th Legislature to take over and hit the ground running, and so far it's going very smoothly. Senator Malone and I have been working very closely together. We are promoting a very smooth transition because we want, like everybody in the territory, for the 30th Legislature to solve some of the issues that we couldn't solve.
Russell, amid vows to support the incoming Senate, defended his management of the 29th.
I think when the dust settles, people will feel very proud of how we manage the money at the 29th Legislature.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
News 2 called Senator Malone's office for comment, but he will not be back in office until December 9th. Senator Sanez was named Vice President of the new Senate. Senator Millen Young was named Secretary, and Senator-elect Cole the Majority Leader. Detectives on St.Thomas have arrested a third suspect involved in the drive-by shooting in Havenside that occurred on May 24th that injured 2 visitors. 2 other suspects were arrested on May 31st. The third suspect, 23-year-old Chaval Miguel Philip, has been identified by detectives as the shooter. He was arrested about 6 p.m. on November 30th and charged with attempted murder, first-degree assault, first-degree unauthorized possession of a firearm, reckless endangerment, first-degree, and aiding and abetting. His bail was set at $250,000 and he was remanded to the custody of the Bureau of Corrections. Police said Philip was a passenger in an SUV when he shot at the victims. On Wednesday's broadcast, during a story on saturated patrols by St. Thomas Police, a picture of Randy Lawrence was accidentally sent by VIPD and used on air. Lawrence was not among the 7 men arrested for selling and smoking marijuana. News 2 would like to apologize for this error. Well, concerns recently arose about the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority's decision to choose Trafigura AG over 11 other bidders as the Virgin Islands fuel source. WAPA officials have defended their decision and have even made their reports public.
Trafigura is one of the largest companies, 91 countries they're in. They're a global country. They're one that we know can deliver and can meet our mandate to keep the lights on in the territory. Understand that those who aren't selected are disappointed, and it's not unusual for them to criticize or question the process or on the people involved, but we're very comfortable with the team that was assembled. I'm very comfortable with the entire process, and I welcome anybody that wants to get a good feel for what went into the decision to go to our website, www.viwapa.vi.
Native Virgin Islander Casper Holstein's birthday is celebrated this week, and in remembrance of the civic leader, some residents on St. Croix have decided to voice their concerns about a pothole-plagued road named in his honor. News 2's Janisha John brings us this story.
Casper Holstein was a civic leader in the history books, but to many residents on St. Croix, the name reminds them of this very road, a road plagued with potholes and no drainage that is named in his honor.
He was one of the most crucial native Virgin Islander. As a philanthropist, I think it's important that this road here now that we are standing on be restored and fixed back, knowing that the 27th legislature appropriated funding, fix it and name it after the Casper Holstein.
The road was originally paved several years ago, but heavy traffic and construction by the National Guard has deteriorated the road, causing residents to seek help to fix it.
Public Works said the most they could do is fill in the roads, and they have filled in lower down by Castleberg with some gravel. But then when it comes to this huge holes in these roads, they're saying they're waiting and the National Guard.
As the construction and heavy traffic continues in the area, the roads are getting worse, leaving the Casper Holstein Drive to be anything but honorable.
It's an abomination to see a road like this named after such a significant individual to be like this here when so much people traversing. So I think it's important on his birthday to address fixing a road like this here that name in his honor.
Some residents feel that the road's condition stains the name of a native Virgin Islander, but for others, the concern is more a matter of safety and inconvenience.
Got 1,000 pothole right now, and everybody that coming through here right now, damaging the car, and there's no light, and it's danger right now. So we like help from the governor, whoever could help us right now.
Janisha John, News 2.
And News 2 reached out to both the Virgin Islands National Guard and the Department of Public Works for a statement, but as of news time, no calls were returned. Turning our attention stateside, President Obama traveled to Virginia today to meet with a family that will feel the impact if the country goes over the fiscal cliff. On Capitol Hill, Republicans are sticking to their position that tax cuts should be extended for all Americans. Daniel Nottingham has the latest from Washington.
President Obama sat down with a middle-class family in Northern Virginia to pitch his plan to avoid the fiscal cliff. The president says the Santanas would be hit hard if Congress does not extend middle-class tax cuts.
A couple of $1,000s means a couple months' rent for this family.
The White House has made clear the country would go over the cliff if Republicans continue to insist tax cuts must be extended for the wealthiest Americans.
For them to be burdened unnecessarily because Democrats and Republicans aren't coming together to solve this problem gives you a sense of the costs involved in very personal terms.
Here on Capitol Hill, Republicans are standing behind their counteroffer to close tax loopholes and limit some deductions, and say the president needs to deliver a new plan that can pass Congress.
The president proposed a plan that members of his own party won't even vote for.
At a hearing, one economist backed the Republicans.
But I just can't imagine anyone looking at that proposal and arguing that it wouldn't throw us into a recession.
The standoff concerns Ryan Sheneke. His group, The Can Kicks Back, is enlisting young people to pressure Congress to fix the nation's economic woes and not kick the can down the road.
We see that if nothing is done, ultimately it's a lower standard of living for our generation.
Sheneke put on a can costume to dance Gangnam Style in this YouTube video with former Senator Alan Simpson, the Republican co-chair of the President's Deficit Commission. Danielle Nottingham, News 2.
Meanwhile, keeping our eye on the economy, fewer Americans applied for unemployment benefits last week. The government says job applications fell by 25,000 to 370,000, suggesting modest hiring. Investors get a bigger picture of the Labor Department tomorrow when the government releases the monthly unemployment report. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank Stock Market Watch. The Dow, NASDAQ, S&P all up. The Dow 39, NASDAQ 15, S&P 4. Coming up on News 2, it's the reason for the season. Get your calendars out because we have a huge lineup of events for you to plan for. Plus, purchase of one of these cards for the holiday, and you will be spreading some love to your recipient and many others who are in need of special services. We'll explain.
When heading to and from the east side.
It's safe to say that within the next 2 weeks, maybe 3, we should be at that point where...
Well, Volunteers of the Virgin Islands has a new location. Usually the group donates food to people in need under the bungalow at Market Square, but this year they will be across the street from the V-I Lottery and right next to Easy Fashion. And the owner of Easy Fashion stopped in Thursday to give a donation in support of the cause.
Today we are starting our soup kitchen to give them dinner in the afternoon. And we also accept donation of any kind. It could be food, clothing, electronics, furniture, whatever. We are willing to have it to help others.
CASA's annual holiday cards are available for sale. This is the 13th year the court-appointed Special Advocates of the Virgin Islands is running this fundraiser. The artwork on the cards is done entirely by students, and it's one of the organization's fundraiser that helps to support CASA's services.
Well, we've been doing the Christmas cards for 13 years now, and all of them are designed by children in St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John, and they depict their idea of what Christmas and the holidays are in the islands. We have them at retailers and on our website, and they're $15 for a pack of 12, and that's a real important fundraiser to us, and it's a fun one too.
Many experienced a real Caribbean Christmas, and that was the theme. Havenside Mall was transformed into Edwards Christmasville, honoring former CEO and president of WICO, Edward Thomas. Now, there was lots of entertainment, local foods, and arts and crafts, and of course, special discounts. Some of the bands included Cool Sessions and many school steel bands. A mini parade was held as residents and cruise ship passengers took in the sights and sounds, but the main event, of course, was the official lighting of the huge Havenside Mall Christmas tree. And don't forget, another upcoming tree lighting event, the 17th annual Christmas tree lighting of the Franklin D. Roosevelt Virgin Islands Veterans Memorial Park, using the theme Making Spirits Bright with the Joy of Christmas Lights. The nonprofit organization We From Up Street has planned many events starting from Sunday, December 9th, and that's the official tree lighting youth night and lighting of the park. Many students will participate. Then on Monday, December 10th from 6 to 9 p.m., it's a presentation of awards cultural night with church and community choirs, quadrille dancers, and Milo's King. Then Tuesday, December 11th from 6 to 9 p.m., it's Nostalgic Christmas with music from Cliff Finch and Friends, along with several other well-known local artists. Many food, drinks, and cultural treats on sale. Organizers say, don't forget to bring your chairs. St. Croix Festival events continue on Saturday with the Pre-Fest, beginning at 4 p.m. at the Herbert Grigg Home for the Aged. A mini parade with troops, music, and more will be in store. Then on Sunday at 5 p.m., the Miss St. Croix pageant will take place at Island Center for the Performing Arts. For next weekend, be sure to mark Saturday, December 15th, down for Just Mass. Activities and a musical lineup will begin at 9 a.m. and continue throughout the day in downtown Christiansted with the finale at midnight. Sunday, December 16th will feature Soup de Cure at Reminisce Restaurant from 3 p.m. until 9 o'clock. The winner takes home $1,000, while first runner-up will receive $500, followed by $250 for the second runner-up. Well, the next First Friday, residents can look forward to another First Friday Business Expo, and this time it's supersized with 3 locations: Drake's Passage, Lockhart Gardens, and Tutu Park Mall, all hosting events in support of the Nana Baby Home and United Way and Millie Media.
Friday from 5 to 8 for the First Friday event. We're going to have food. It's all free from Caribbean Fish Market, and we're benefiting Nana Baby Home.
Top Notch is going to be doing the music, and Flip Switch as well is going to be performing, and of course Sushi. Everybody loves sushi. And
you're going to be getting the cultural touch. It's quadrille and Milo's King, so it's going to be high energy.
Remember, come out to this First Friday's Business Expo and Sidewalk Sale. And remember, it's free.
Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.